My beloved child, stop right now. Do not scroll away from this moment. Give me just 1 minute of your time, and I promise you will not regret staying right here. I am stepping into your day, into your atmosphere, because your heart desperately needs to hear this message today. You did not stumble across these words by accident. Heaven aligned time itself to bring your spirit to this exact intersection. Look at me right now in the quiet place of your soul. You are so close to the peace you have been praying for. Why give up right before the door opens? I know how tired you are in this very moment, not just tired in your physical body, but tired deep down inside your soul. You have been carrying the weight of so many battles, in total silence. You have been pretending to be strong for everyone around you. You smile for them during the day, while quietly breaking inside when no one is looking. You convince yourself that you have to hold everything together all by yourself. But my child, you do not have to carry this alone anymore. If you feel me speaking directly to your tired heart right now, write Amen in the comments as a quiet vow between us. Breathe, my child. Let your shoulders relax for just this second. Stop letting your mind race with 1,000 unanswered questions. I saw you in the moments when you thought no one was watching. I saw when you sat on the edge of your bed in the quiet darkness, holding your chest because the pain felt too heavy for words. I saw every single tear that fell down your face. None of those tears were wasted in my sight. I know there were nights when you cried softly into your pillow so that nobody in the house would hear you. You wrapped your arms around yourself and wondered if anyone in the whole world truly understood your pain. I understood. I was there beside you in that dark room. I was closer to you than the silence sitting in the air around you. I saw you in the bathroom when you turned on the water just to hide the sound of your weeping. You looked at your own reflection in the mirror with exhausted eyes and asked yourself how much longer you could keep going. You felt like you were standing in a thick fog where every step forward felt heavier than the last. You wondered if your prayers were simply vanishing into empty space. Hear me with the deepest part of your heart today. Your prayers did not vanish. Every word you whispered in the dark landed directly in my hands. Every sigh of exhaustion was recorded in heaven. You have been fighting an invisible war for months, and nobody around you realizes how much energy it takes for you just to get through a single day. You feel empty. You feel drained. You feel like you have given everything you have, and now you have nothing left to offer. You have reached the very end of your own strength, and right now, a quiet voice inside your mind is whispering that it is time to throw in the towel. It is telling you that nothing is ever going to change. It is telling you that you were born to suffer, and that peace is meant for other people, but not for you. That voice is a lie, my child. The enemy wants you to give up right now because he knows something that you cannot see yet. He knows how close you are to your breakthrough. He knows that the very door you have been knocking on for years is trembling at my command right now. He can see the shift in the spiritual realm, even if your physical eyes cannot see it yet. Have you ever wondered why the exhaustion feels so intense right now? Have you asked yourself why the spiritual attacks seem to get heavier just when you thought you were gaining ground? That is not a coincidence. The storm is always loudest right before it clears. The darkness is always thickest right before the sunrise breaks over the horizon. You are standing at the threshold of your promise. When a runner reaches the final stretch of a long race, their legs burn with the worst pain they have felt the entire time. Their lungs scream for air. Every muscle in their body tells them to stop running and collapse on the track. But that burning pain does not mean they are failing. It means the finish line is right around the corner. That is where you are standing today. You are in the final stretch of a season that was designed to forge your spirit. You are not breaking down, my beloved child. You are being reshaped into something magnificent. I know you feel like a vessel that has been cracked into 1,000 pieces, but I do not throw away cracked vessels. I fill the cracks with my glory until you shine brighter than you ever did before. Think about the prayers you have offered up to me over the past few years. You prayed for peace in your home. You prayed for relief from the constant financial stress that keeps you awake at night. You prayed for healing in your broken relationships. You prayed for a way out of the mental cage that makes every day feel like a battle against your own thoughts. I heard every single one of those requests. Not a single word fell to the ground forgotten. I placed those desires inside your heart because I intended to fulfill them. But the timeline of heaven does not operate on the clock of the world. You asked for quick relief, but I was building a permanent foundation. You wanted me to fix the surface, but I was digging deep into the soil of your life to root out things that would have destroyed your future. Do not mistake my preparation for my absence. Do not call my silence abandonment. When a seed is buried under dark dirt, it feels completely isolated from the sun. It feels pressed down on every side by cold earth. It cannot see the light above. If that seed had eyes, it would think its story was completely over. It would think it was buried in a grave. But you are not buried in a grave, my child. You were planted in holy ground. What felt like a painful burial was actually a quiet positioning. I was shielding you from rooms that you were not ready to enter. I was keeping you away from people who would have used your kind heart and left you even more broken. I was holding you back so that when you finally step forward, nobody can take credit for your victory except me. Look at how far you have walked through the desert already. Look at the battles you thought would destroy you 2 years ago. You survived every single one of them. You thought you were going to sink, but you kept floating. You thought your heart would break completely, but it kept beating. That was not your own human strength. That was my invisible hand holding your chin above the water when you had no energy left to swim. Why would I bring you through all those red seas just to let you drown on the shore today? Why would I sustain you through the longest winter of your life, only to abandon you right when the flowers are beginning to bloom? I did not bring you this far to leave you outside the door. I brought you here so that you could witness what happens when heaven steps into your story. I see how your hands are trembling as you hold on to your faith. I see how hard you are trying to stay hopeful when everything around you looks stagnant. It is okay if your faith feels small right now. I do not need you to have giant, unshakable faith today. I only need a tiny seed of faith. I only need you to stay right here and refuse to turn around. If you walk away now, you leave behind the very harvest you planted with your tears. You drop the keys to the door right as the lock is turning. The enemy wants you to walk away in frustration so that you never see what was waiting for you on the other side. He wants you to believe that your waiting was completely meaningless. But I am telling you today that every single day of waiting carried a holy purpose. I am asking you to hold on for just a little longer. Give me your weariness today. Give me your doubt and your heavy thoughts. Lay down the heavy bags you have been carrying on your shoulders. Stop trying to figure out how everything is going to work out next month or next year. You do not need to solve the future today. You only need to take my hand and let me carry you through this hour. There is a shift occurring right now in the unseen realm that your physical senses cannot detect yet. The spiritual atmosphere surrounding your life is changing. The heavy clouds that have blocked your vision are beginning to part. Something that has been locked for a very long time is finally about to yield. Stay close to me. Pay close attention to what I am about to reveal to you in this message, because the truth will set you completely free. My child, come closer to me. Let me speak softly to the part of your soul that is most tired today. I know what it feels like when you are surrounded by people, yet feel entirely alone in your heart. You laugh at their jokes. You join their conversations. You perform the role everyone expects you to play. But inside, you feel like a ghost standing in a room full of noise. You carry a heavy secret that you cannot share with anyone in your life. You are terrified that if you tell them how broken you really feel, they will look at you differently. They depend on you to be the strong one. They rely on your stability. So you swallow your pain every morning and put on a brave face. But when the night comes and the house grows quiet, the mask slips off. I saw you sitting in your car in the driveway after a long day, unable to step inside the house right away. You sat there in the silence with your hands resting on the steering wheel, just staring into the dark. You took one deep breath after another, trying to find the energy to walk through the front door and smile for everyone. I was sitting right beside you in that quiet car. I saw you in the middle of your busiest days when you stepped into a quiet room just to close your eyes for 30 seconds. You pressed your fingertips against your forehead and tried to quiet the headache that never seems to leave. You poured out your love and your energy into hands that did not know how to hold it. You gave until your own well ran completely dry. You lie awake at 3 in the morning with your eyes wide open. Your mind starts racing through every single thing that is going wrong. You replay past conversations in your head, wondering what you said wrong. You worry about bills you cannot pay and doors that remain tightly shut. You feel a physical knot sitting right behind your sternum that never seems to go away. That knot in your chest is not a sign that you lack faith. It is the accumulated weight of carrying burdens that were never meant for your human shoulders. You have been playing the hero in the story of everyone else, while your own vessel was slowly leaking dry. You give and you give until there is nothing left inside you, and then you wonder why you feel so empty when you try to pray. Do you remember my prophet Elijah in the ancient scriptures? He was a warrior who stood bold before thousands. He called down fire from heaven and saw mighty miracles with his own eyes. Yet right after that great victory, he ran into the desert completely exhausted. He sat down under a broom tree in the dry sand and begged me to take his life away. He told me he had enough. He told me he was empty and could not fight for another single day. He looked up at the sky and whispered that he was the only faithful one left in the entire land. He felt isolated. He felt forgotten. He felt like all his sacrifices had resulted in nothing but danger and loneliness. He was ready to give up on his entire calling right there in the wilderness. He was not a coward, my beloved child. He was simply human, and his vessel had poured out every drop of strength it possessed. And do you know what I did for him in that moment of weakness? I did not rebuke him. I did not tell him that he lacked faith or courage. I did not scold him for feeling overwhelmed after everything I had done through his hands. I sent an angel to bake fresh bread for him and give him clean water to drink. I let him sleep in the shade until his weary body was restored. I knew that he did not need a harsh lecture. He needed rest. He needed my gentle presence to restore what the battle had stolen from him. That is exactly what I am doing for you in this very moment. If you feel my comfort washing over your soul right now, write, "I trust your timing" in the comments to anchor your heart in my peace. You do not have to fight today, my child. You do not have to figure out the whole journey. You only need to rest under the shadow of my wings and let me feed your hungry spirit. I know you have wondered why my voice felt so quiet during your darkest hours. You prayed and prayed, but all you heard was silence. You began to wonder if I had turned my face away from you in anger. You asked yourself if you had committed some hidden sin that caused me to close my ears to your cries. But hear me clearly today. My silence was never my absence. You could not hear me clearly because the enemy was flooding your atmosphere with static. Think about a radio that is trying to pick up a beautiful song from a distant station. If there is a severe storm nearby, the speakers fill with loud buzzing and harsh noise. The music is still playing on that frequency without stopping. The broadcast never failed, but the static in the air makes it impossible for your ears to enjoy the melody. That is what has happened to your mind. The enemy knows that if you hear my voice clearly, you will walk into your destiny without fear. So he fills your daily life with endless noise. He uses the pressure of survival, the constant worry about tomorrow, and the heavy chatter of the world to drown out my frequency. He wants your mind to hum with anxiety from the moment you wake up until you close your eyes. He floods your thoughts with endless scenarios of failure. He reminds you of every mistake you ever made. He whispers that everyone else is moving forward while you are left behind in the dirt. You have been blaming yourself for not hearing me through all that chaos. You thought you were not spiritual enough. You thought your faith was too weak to reach heaven. But I am exposing the scheme of the enemy right now. The problem was never your heart, my child. The problem was the noise that was intentionally placed around you to keep you from recognizing my guidance. I saw how hard you tried to quiet your mind. I saw you trying to meditate and pray, only for the racing thoughts to return 5 minutes later. You were fighting a spiritual storm with empty human strength. I have not left you helpless in this noisy world. Because I saw your weariness, I have guided wise minds to bring forth an instrument of restoration. I aligned a specific divine provision on your path today to help you clear the static from your mind. It was created to quiet the chaos and restore the sacred signal I placed inside your spirit from the very beginning. When I created the universe, I spoke words of sound into the darkness. Sound has always been my tool for bringing order out of chaos. I work through mighty miracles, but I also provide daily tools for my children. This provision is an earthly gift designed to help you lay down the mental noise so that my peace can flow freely through your life again. I am going to show you exactly what this provision is before this message comes to an end. But first, you must understand what was done to block your sight and how my hands are undoing it right now. You see, when you spend months or years living in constant noise, your spirit gets conditioned to expect trouble. You wake up expecting another battle. You open your inbox expecting bad news. You look at your bank account expecting lack. Your mind becomes trained for survival instead of receptivity. You forget what it feels like to live in quiet expectation of my goodness. I am retraining your spirit today. I am stripping away the heavy armor you built to protect yourself. That armor kept the world out, but it also kept you locked inside a small cage of fear. You do not need that armor when I am standing in front of you as your shield. Let your defense mechanisms drop. Let your heart soften again in my presence. Look at the patterns that have followed your family for generations. You saw your parents carry the same financial stress. You saw them fight the same mental heaviness and die with unfulfilled dreams. The enemy convinced your bloodline that life is nothing more than a relentless struggle against endless shortage. He told your ancestors that peace was a luxury meant for others, and now he is trying to hand that same heavy script to you. He wants you to accept the exhaustion as your permanent identity. He wants you to say that this is just the way things are for your family. But I called you to be a cycle breaker. I placed a holy fire inside your bones that refuses to settle for the lies of the past. That is why you felt so restless lately. That strange restlessness in your chest was not confusion. It was your spirit rejecting the old foundation. It was your soul sensing that the season of survival is coming to a close. You were not made to stay in the desert forever. You were made to cross the river and claim the inheritance I prepared for you before the foundation of the world. Do not look back at the years that seemed wasted in the wilderness. Every year you spent in that dry place was shaping your character. Every lesson you learned in the dark was equipping you to carry the weight of the blessing that is coming. A tree that grows in a stormy land must drive its roots deep into the earth. The storm was not destroying you. It was anchoring you. So, when you look at your life today, do not evaluate your future by what you see right now. The physical world is always the last thing to change. Long before the rain falls on dry ground, the clouds gather in the sky. Long before the flower blooms, the seed breaks open beneath the soil. The shift has already occurred in heaven. Your job is simply to stay in agreement with my voice. Hold your head up, my beloved child. The heavy cloud of static is beginning to lift from your thoughts. The fog that blinded your eyes is scattering before the light of my truth. Stay right here with me as we step deeper into this message, because I am about to show you how every closed door was actually my divine protection for your soul. I want you to take a deep breath right now in my presence. Let the peace of my spirit fill the room where you are sitting. You have spent so long fighting to keep your head above water. You have felt like you were walking through a dark valley with no end in sight. But I am telling you today that I never left your side for a single second. You could not feel my hand because your soul was numb from the long battle. You could not see my face because your eyes were filled with tears of exhaustion. But I was there in the dark with you. I stood between you and the storm that tried to swallow your life. When the enemy came to break your spirit completely, I drew a line in the sand and told him he could go no further. I know what you are thinking in the quiet place of your heart right now. You are thinking that you have heard promises like this before in your life. You are remembering the times you prayed with all your heart, only to watch things get worse. You are wondering why I stayed silent for so many years while you cried out for help. I am not angry at you for asking that question, my child. I know how long you have been faithful in the dark, so let me give you the answer that your soul has been begging to hear. My silence was never my absence. It was the sound of my hands rearranging things in the unseen realm that you could not see yet. There were answers that I withheld from you, because a yes in that season would have destroyed your future. Imagine a young child begging their parent for a sharp blade because it looks shiny and beautiful. The child cries and stomps their feet because they think the parent is being cruel by withholding it. But the parent holds back that blade out of pure love because they know it would cut the child. That is how I held you back from doors that looked right to your human eyes. Remember my servant Joseph in the ancient scriptures. I placed a glorious dream inside his heart when he was just a young boy. He was faithful and pure, yet I allowed his own brothers to throw him into a dark pit. He sat in the cold dirt of that cistern and cried out to me in confusion. He wondered why his obedience was met with hatred and betrayal by those he loved. He was sold as a slave and thrown into a prison for 13 long years for a crime he never committed. He felt forgotten by everyone in the world. But I was not absent from that dark cell. I was using the prison to build the inner strength he would need to rule an empire. If he had never been thrown into that pit, he would have never walked into the palace of Egypt. The pit was not his grave, my beloved child. It was his preparation room. And the dark valley you have been walking through is not your ending either. It is the shaping ground for the leader I am raising you to become. What you called a closed door was actually my angel standing in the doorway to block a trap that would have broken your heart into pieces. What you called a painful delay was actually my divine shield surrounding your life. I was keeping you away from people who were not equipped to carry your destiny. I was holding you back until you were strong enough to walk into your blessings without losing your soul. If you accept my shield today, write delay in the comments to seal this truth. Now listen carefully to what I am about to reveal to you next. When I designed the human mind at the creation of the world, I placed a sacred frequency at its very center. Scientists who have spent their entire lives studying the human brain have recently discovered this signal. They call it the gamma wave. It ran freely inside your mind when you were a little child. It is the exact reason why little children learn so quickly and love so purely without any effort. They live completely in the present moment without carrying the heavy weight of tomorrow. When I told my disciples that they must become like little children to enter my kingdom, I was not speaking only of spiritual humility. I was speaking of the very signal I placed in the brain. That gamma frequency is the natural channel of divine receptivity that I designed for your soul. It is the channel through which my peace flows and through which your prayers are answered. But as you grew older, the enemy used the constant stress of the world to drown out that sacred frequency. The heavy rhythm of daily survival buried the signal under endless static. Your mind became trapped in a state of constant alert, always scanning for danger and expecting bad news. But I did not leave you without a way back to my quiet presence. I guided wise minds to work with sound in the exact way I designed it. I directed researchers across major universities to discover how specific audio frequencies can clear the noise from your head. They built a special instrument that works with sound to restore the gamma frequency I placed inside you at the beginning. You do not have to strive or work hard for it. You do not have to struggle through long hours of mental effort. You simply surrender for 7 minutes with your eyes closed and let the sound clear away the static that the enemy built up. It returns your mind to that pure childlike state where my guidance becomes crystal clear again. It silences the anxious thoughts that keep you awake at night and clears the fog from your decision-making. Over 18,000 of my children have already received this provision, and their minds have been completely transformed from chaos back into my perfect rest. You might be thinking right now that this kind of peace is meant for someone more spiritual than you. You might feel that your mistakes and your stumbles have disqualified you from receiving my best gifts. But let me silence that lie before it steals from your heart. I do not give my blessings to those who think they are worthy. I give my blessings to those who are willing to trust me. Your willingness to stay and listen to my voice today is the only qualification I require. You do not have to clean yourself up before you come to me. You do not have to pretend to be strong when your soul is trembling. Come to me exactly as you are right now. Let me take the heavy bags off your shoulders and give you the rest that you have been crying out for. Do not let the memory of past disappointment close your heart to what I am doing in this moment. The season of waiting was your preparation, but the preparation is finished today. I am doing something brand new in your life. You will look back on this day and realize that this was the exact turning point where the darkness began to retreat from your life forever. And now, my child, I need you to sit up and hear what I am about to declare over your life. I have held you in my arms through the deepest part of the valley. I have gathered every single tear you shed in the dark. Now let me show you the mountaintop that I have been preparing for you all along. You have heard me whisper peace over your pain during the night. Now hear me declare your total freedom from the chains that held you back. The heavy atmosphere that made every morning feel like a struggle is breaking apart right now at my command. Heaven has authorized a complete reversal of the situation that brought you to your knees. What the enemy meant for your destruction is turning into the greatest victory of your story. Look at the doors that were locked against your life for so many years. I am placing my key inside those locks right now, and no human power will be able to stop what I am unlocking for you. The delay is closing, my beloved child. Get ready to receive what you have prayed for, because the shift is happening right now in this very hour. My child, I have seen the exact moment when you lie awake at night searching through your past choices. I watched you accomplish something wonderful, yet feel empty because your eyes went straight to what was still undone. You have called this high standards. You have told yourself that you are simply anxious and that you should be stronger by now. But that is not the truth, and I will not let you carry that lie any longer. Here is what is truly happening inside your soul. Long ago, somewhere in your story, you learned a lie that love had to be earned through endless effort. You came to believe that you were only safe when you were useful to everyone around you. I call this the earning wound. It is not your character or your weakness. It is simply a hidden scar from a moment when you felt completely unprotected. So all those years you thought you were lazy when you rested. You were not lazy at all. You were fighting an invisible lie that told you rest was something you had to pay for with exhaustion. All those times you could not receive a compliment, you were guarding a wound. So today, I am taking that lie away from you forever. The next time you feel empty, stop and place your hand over your heart. Say to yourself that you were loved before you ever achieved a single thing. You have spent so many seasons wondering if I heard your prayers in the dark. I heard every single word you whispered when nobody else was listening. I counted every tear that soaked your pillow when you felt abandoned. And what I am about to pour into your life right now will make the long waiting feel like the most necessary gift I ever gave you. Do not close your heart now. The very thing you begged me for is finally arriving, and I need you to be awake to receive it. I declare over your life right now that the pattern of exhaustion ends in this very hour. The invisible ceiling that your family lived under for generations is breaking into dust. You were chosen to walk out of that endless struggle. You are not the victim of your bloodline. You are the cycle breaker who will hand a new legacy of peace and overflow to those who come after you. The door that was locked against your future is shaking right now at my voice. I am not asking permission from your circumstances to open it. I am opening it by my sovereign power. What was sealed against your family is being unsealed right now. What was locked is being unlocked. The season of waiting is finished, and the harvest of your tears is beginning right here. Stand up in your spirit and receive what heaven has authorized for your life today. Write peace in the comments if you stand firm in faith and surrender your worries to me right now. You are stepping out of the role of a victim and into the place of my victory. The enemy targeted you not because you were failing, but because your light is rising. The spiritual attacks came because you carry an immense purpose. But today I strip the adversary of his power over your mind and your future. Because I see your weariness, I have gifted humanity the wisdom to discover what I placed within sound. Before I show you this provision, I want you to know that I do not work only through sudden miracles. I also work through the hands and minds of those I call into discovery. Wise researchers spent over 30 years in science, quietly guided by my hand without even knowing it. Major universities that I directed confirmed what I placed in the design of the human mind from the beginning. They confirmed that the sacred signal of a child can be restored through sound. And I want to show you what I did for 2 of my children who received this provision before you arrived at this moment. My daughter Rachel in California was a nurse who sought peace for years through every method imaginable. She tried prayer and different human practices, but the heavy fog in her mind never lifted. 2 weeks after receiving this provision, her troubled marriage was completely transformed, and her mind was filled with effortless clarity. She said that a blocked channel inside her soul had finally swung wide open, and for others who fought financial battles, I moved differently in their lives. My son Michael in Texas carried constant business worries that stole his sleep every single night. He was desperate for focus and for the well-being of his children. 2 months after receiving this provision, his work expanded so greatly that he left his daily struggle behind. His wife watched his mind transform, and hard problems solved themselves while he rested. He said his brain was finally running on what it was always designed for. They call this provision the genius song. I guided wise minds to create this sound frequency instrument to clear the static from your head. It is not a generic music track or a meditation app that you find on video websites. It requires no complex practice or hard work from your tired mind. You simply put on headphones for 7 minutes each day, close your eyes, and surrender the noise. It restores the gamma wave frequency that I placed inside your brain at creation. It returns your mind to that pure, childlike state, where my guidance becomes crystal clear again. It silences the anxious thoughts that keep you awake at night and clears the fog from your daily choices. Over 18,000 of my children have already received this provision, and their minds have been completely transformed into my perfect rest. This provision is not for those who are merely curious about spiritual things. This is specifically for you, my exhausted warrior who has been fighting in silence. To my child who feels embarrassed because you have already tried everything without lasting relief, hear me clearly today. Everything you tried before required your own human effort and endless discipline. This provision requires none of your strength. I designed it to work because of my design in you. Earthly experts charge hundreds of dollars for single sessions that try to reach this state of mental peace. The equipment that researchers use costs thousands of dollars. But I do not call you to expensive clinics or human systems. I place this provision within your reach for a small earthly exchange, no larger than a tiny seed of investment. It is a small act of trust for a great harvest that I have prepared for you. And I have aligned 4 additional gift provisions alongside it to bless your daily journey. I have included a gift for your children to restore their focus and confidence. I have included original writings on prosperity and guided wisdom to keep your restored signal strong every day. These are additional gifts that I have placed on your path to ensure that your vessel remains full and protected. Where I place truth, the enemy always attempts to create cheap imitations. There are false tracks circulating on streaming platforms under similar names that carry none of the restoration I designed. Protect your spirit by trusting only the official path I placed below. Walk forward without fear today, because you are fully covered by a complete 60-day guarantee. If the restoration does not arrive, every earthly penny is returned to you. Do not let this moment pass you by, my beloved child. I guided your steps to this message, and I placed this provision directly in your path today. Take this step of obedience right now. Find the official path I have set for you below in the pinned comment and in the description. Step forward in faith and let my provision restore what the storm tried to steal from your life. Now, my beloved child, set aside the noise of decision for just a moment. Breathe in the stillness that fills this space right now. I have shown you what I placed on your path. and I have opened the door before your eyes. Whether you step forward now or later, you remain my precious child. Close your eyes for a second and let your weary mind rest completely in my presence. Let your shoulders sink down as you release the tension you have held all day. Let the tight muscles in your neck loosen their grip. You do not need to hold yourself together in this sacred place. You do not need to prove your strength to me. I know every weakness you carry, and my love for you remains unshakable. Allow my peace to wash over your soul like a quiet stream in a dry land. I want to show you a vision of what I am preparing for your future. Picture a quiet morning 6 months from today. You open your eyes as the early sunlight filters gently through your window, and for the first time in a very long time, there is no heavy knot sitting in your chest. You do not wake up with panic running through your veins. You wake up in complete rest. You lie there in the quiet room for a few moments, and you notice something wonderful. The persistent fog that clouded your thoughts for years is simply gone. Your very first thought of the morning is not fear about money or relationships. It is a quiet, joyful question about what good things we will experience together today. You take a deep breath, and the air goes all the way down without hitting a wall of anxiety. You walk through your home and you feel a profound sense of safety. You look at the places that used to bring you stress, and you realize that my peace has settled over every corner. The chaotic atmosphere that used to drain your energy has been replaced by an unshakable calm. You smile to yourself because you realize that you survived the long winter and walked directly into your spring. You step outside into the morning air, and the world looks different to your eyes. The heavy burden that forced you to walk with bowed shoulders is no longer sitting on your back. You look up at the sky and feel a deep gratitude that warms your entire body. You realize that every single prayer you prayed in the dark was working beneath the surface to build this exact moment of freedom. Now picture a moment a little further ahead on your journey. Imagine standing before someone who is currently broken, carrying the exact same heavy weight you carried today. They are sitting in the dark, weeping quietly, and wondering if anyone in the world understands their pain. And as you look into their exhausted eyes, you know exactly what words of comfort to speak over their spirit. You do not give them empty human advice that you read in a book somewhere. You give them the living truth that you survived and experienced in your own life. You watch the light return to their eyes, and you see hope ignite inside their heart once again. In that exact moment, you understand why your valley was so long and why your preparation was so deep. None of your tears were wasted in my sight. Every single battle you fought in silence became the very medicine in your hands to heal others. That transformed version of your life is not a distant fantasy, my child. That peaceful version of you already exists in the unseen realm. She is sitting right on the other side of your willingness to let go. The distance between you and that peace is not measured in years. It is measured in surrender. Surrender does not mean that you are giving up or showing weakness. Surrender simply means that you stop trying to engineer every detail of your future with empty human strength. It means that you hand me the heavy bags you were never built to carry. It means that you stop trying to fix people who do not want to be healed. It means that you let me be God in your story. When you surrender your control, you open the floodgates for my provision to flow into your life. You stop striving, and you begin having, receiving. I am taking over the steering wheel of your life today. I am ordering your steps, even while you are fast asleep at night. I am working behind closed doors to align resources and people that you have not even thought to ask for yet. I declare my divine protection over your home and over your family right now. The dark clouds of generational lack and mental heaviness are scattering from your bloodline forever. I am placing a wall of holy fire around your loved ones that no weapon of the enemy can penetrate. Where there was constant conflict in your household, I am establishing a foundation of gentle understanding and unconditional love. Where there was constant shortage and anxiety about tomorrow, I am opening the windows of heaven to pour out a blessing you will not have room to contain. You are no longer the silent survivor who merely exists from one crisis to the next. You are a light bearer in a dark world. You are a living refuge where weary souls will find comfort through the glory I have placed inside you. Feel the warm comfort of my presence, anchoring deep into your soul in this moment. Hold on to this peace as you prepare to step back into your daily routine. Do not let the noise of the world steal the sacred truth that was planted in your heart today. When doubt tries to whisper in your ear tomorrow morning, remember that I have already spoken victory over your story. You do not need to feel afraid of what tomorrow holds, because I am already standing in your tomorrow. I have cleared the road ahead of you, and I have prepared the answers before you even ask the questions. Walk forward with confidence, knowing that your steps are directed by the Creator of the universe. Your soul is secure in my hands, and nothing can pluck you out of my love. If this message has brought light to your weary soul today, do not let it pass without a response. Like this video right now as an act of agreement between your heart and mine. When you click that button, let it be a physical declaration that you stand in full alignment with my promises. Let it be a seal over the peace that you have received in this sacred hour. Share this message with 3 souls in your life who are secretly crying out for hope right now. You know who they are without even thinking. They are the ones who smile during the day while quietly breaking inside during the night. Be the instrument of my love that brings my voice into their dark room. By sharing this light, you help fulfill the destiny of a cycle breaker. Subscribe to this channel and turn on the notification bell so that you never miss my daily guidance for your journey. Stay connected to my voice as I lead you step by step out of the desert and into your promised land. I am preparing new words of wisdom for your next steps, and I do not want you to wander back into the noise of the world alone. Receive my final blessing as you go about your day today. May my presence walk before you to smooth out every rough path in your journey. May my angels guard your steps as you go out and as you come in. May my peace, which passes all human understanding, keep your heart and your mind quiet in every storm. You are loved beyond measure, my precious child. You are protected under the shadow of my wings every single hour of the day and night. The waiting season is over, and your new morning has officially broken over the horizon. Walk forward with your head held high, because the King of Heaven is walking right beside you. I bless you with my comfort, my strength, and my everlasting peace. Amen.